Good afternoon and welcome back to another ironic introduction to another video. Today I'm doing my January review and February forecast. As always, there is a link to the forum in the description below and a few timestamps if you want to skip around specific things. That said, before I go into February, let's talk about January. It was a slow month, but it almost always is, at least what I've seen in previous videos and how I know from last year, just because of all the hype from the holiday season and all the crazy content we just got with like Variant 6 and Book 2 hitting. It's no surprise that January was a dull month. What really kind of put the nail in the coffin there, though, is the fact that they had us do this arcade event, and it was just really poorly crafted. There was like a need to like min-max the tokens. There was a need to run the same lousy path 32 times. Like, it wasn't even a different set of fights. I think that they could have done the same thing and just they tried to offer selectivity, but then it really just essentially became people running the same path over and over again, so then you're stuck running the same path 32 times. It's just really poorly crafted. And I think my biggest thing is that you're getting arcade tickets as a reward. That you should have just made it a purchase event. Like, you want to give players selectivity, just make it a store. And like, if there's anything that says store, it's arcade tickets. It's almost like, hey, kabam, have you ever been to an arcade? Have you ever used an arcade ticket? Do you know how this works? You bring tickets in, you buy things with them, usually a piece of candy. Usually garbage, but still, it just would have made more sense. And I think it would have fit more thematically. If we're talking about the event itself and really trying to keep the core structure there, though, I think January could have been really salvaged with some like basic things. One, instead of 32 runs, make it like 20. Divvy out the tokens better, make it so we didn't have to min-max them the same amount, make it just like an overall number of tickets hit instead of specifically tickets that you got from a specific level of difficulty, because like, honestly, what's an extra legendary crystal going to do to someone who is Thronebreaker, or an extra, 5-star crystal, 5,000 5-star shards are going to do someone who is deep in Cavalier and pushing the legendary mode for the side event. I really think that would have made it a lot better, but thankfully January is over and we have some really good stuff coming in February. Now, if we're just looking at the rewards, February, it's just like every other month. There's literally no real update here. But we do have some benefits as a part of February. So the first one is the addition of the Shattered Heart Crystal Shards. So there's a good amount of Cavalier or Grandmaster Crystals, depending on where you're at in the game here. So those are going to be very, very solid. Additionally, we do have return of potions, and I think it's just potions from the February event. Normally, it's potions or revives or both. So that's good. They've deemed them love juice potions this time around. And then the side event itself will have something that you need the power of love buff or a self-love boost in order to really push through at least in an easier fashion. And this is also going to play in with like a Valentine's Day calendar for some extra stuff, a little mini gifting event with some solo event rewards for some extra stuff. And overall, it plays out pretty good. I think the thing I want to hype here is that I love the Cavalier crystals. I think it comes out to like 12-ish. I didn't actually sit and do the math, but if you like run all of them, it's more than 10. That's a solid amount of Cavalier crystals for any amount of effort. Also an extra arena, which I'll judge once we see it. Hopefully it's a full 5-star crystal at least, ideally like a featured at the end though, to be honest. But extra arena is always nice for the grinders out there. The solo events actually gives some decent stuff and seems really reasonable to actually like practically hit. And so overall, I'm going to say February from a content perspective is going to have a bit more. I hope that the event itself is a lot better, because they didn't actually like give us a ton of information on that and how we enter and where we clear. It might just be like a pathing or a questing thing. So essentially they just say tune in every week to see how the story unfolds. So it might just be a simple 1 week unlocks a story, you do a series of paths, that's the quest, and we do that 3 times. Hopefully that's what it is. It's very simple. Hopefully it's low energy cost, but they don't give us that information, unfortunately, because if you can, then you run all of them and you grab the Shattered Heart Crystal Shards from as many difficulties as you're willing to put the time in, grab those Cavalier crystals, and it works out pretty good. So it's going to be a month full of items and maybe some potions, some extra crystals, some crazy stuff here and there. Now, one of the dampers I want to put on February is the fact that in the solo event, we're getting 1,000 6-star shards, and that's actually being subtracted from the side event itself. As you can see here, we get 4,000 6-star shards for the legendary completion. That should be 5,000, but kind of like to counter the detract there is if you run the legendary and you run the epic, it is 6,000 6-star hero shards. So it's still there, kind of. It's just I don't feel like it should have been subtracted. This should be 5,000. It should be an extra 1,000 for the solo event. But if you want to claim the full amount of 6-star shards, really, you got to participate in the solo event as well. It's not the biggest of deals, small things, but I get hung up on those kinds of things because I don't like the head fake. Hey, we actually migrated the rewards rather than overall increased it. In my opinion, even with these increases, I think that it just depends on where you're at in the game. For some people, we've got like big things like Sig Stones, hitting accessibility. We're getting extra crystals, which is so nice, and those items are going to be awesome for people who are looking to progress and push content. But if you are one of those people who are like deeper at the end, in the end stages of the game, it is still a really low amount of tier 2 alpha, a very low amount of 6-star shards, and overall just kind of like a little bit of a disappointment from a rewards perspective. So that coupled with the fact that we're getting new Cavalier nodes, which again adds spice and flavor for those of you who are looking to push and progress, but for those of you who are not and are kind of like at the end game waiting, unfortunately, no positive news from me there. Overall, I'm going to say February will probably be an exciting month for most people, as long as the side event isn't like painfully grindy. But overall, let me know what you think. I am looking forward to it. This is a good opportunity for me to start pushing through some of the harder quests in Act 6 using these items. But as always, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.